Good day and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before I begin with this fitting video, I'd like to ask you all to leave a like, comment, or subscribe to my channel. And if you dislike the video, please leave a dislike and a comment as well so I know where I'm going wrong. Okay, so let's get back into the fittings on the next vessel. So I've already looked through all of the naval class vessels, all the way through the entire list of ships. Actually, I've even looked at snipers in the higher class vessels. But for now, I just remember there's something I was supposed to have discussed in the previous video before going on with the rest of the fittings. And that's going to be choosing how your ship plays. Now, I already showed you the Caracal vessel, but here is something which is just as important. You must go into your menu, go into your medium class weapons, and look at the range of your weapon. It also dictates whether you'll be able to play a different type of strategy. So let's go straight here, medium rifle. Immediately when you see it, you'll see its optimal range is 18 kilometers and its fall off is 10. That means it's going to operate within 10 to 18 kilometers. It's always going to stay in that region when you're fighting. So obviously that's going to limit where you're going to fight, and it's also going to limit what fittings you're going to choose. If you're going to choose a snub nose, you are right in the face of any enemy. You don't have anywhere to run. Then let's go beams. Greatest range is 22 kilometers, still right in front. I did find out from a channel that you can equip these large weapons on your elite ship that you got, but I wouldn't suggest equipping it because it just wrecks the capacity of your ship. It takes up most of the power, and you can't really fit anything good to your ship afterwards. Now let's look at this autocannon, 10.3 Ks. So that's a right in front. Where is the medium strike cannon? Here's it. 20 Ks. This one, yeah, I know has a better range than the others. 24 Ks. Okay, and obviously then you have your missiles, which have the massive, almost 80 Ks. Not 80 Ks, almost 35 Ks. 27.95 Ks. Okay, so that's quite the range on these weapons. Sorry about that. I just wanted to check the range on the medium, on the large missile. So let's go into the market and go straight to the big picture on the next ship. Now, as I said, you must look at your weapons. And also on your weapons, like I showed the three dots on the side of your ship, if you go down on your weapon, you'll find that there's three dots on the side. And advancing all the research that is to deal with the weapon type you choose will mean that you can be more efficient. Now, if you are running Omega and you are running the max skill chips, you are going to be reaching T7 a lot sooner than everybody else. You have actually 300 hours or less within this week. And as you reach this point, you are going to be thinking about getting to the next level. So, what you should be thinking about is only focusing on what is important to you, because you will get the chance to catch up with all the research at a later stage when your SP is already full. You're at max tech level. You don't have anything to stress about. You've got extra free SP. You can skip through a lot of development. So let's go back into the ships and let's go back into these cruisers. Now, the reason I chose the cruiser fittings is the cruisers are the most important at the moment for anybody. And here's the next one on the naval class vessels, the Stable Fleet issue. This is from I can't remember the name of the faction, but it's from the red faction in the list when you're looking through the factions. Okay, now let's start off from the top, going through everything on this here. This is a cannon based weapon. And what does it give you as your first perk? A bonus in range fall off. Now, what does that mean? That means that you can hit your target more with this vessel. So if you're running cannons and you aren't getting your target when you start losing distance on it, to fight a little bit outside of the range of torpedo launchers, rapid fire cannons, all of these things, you want to pull that range a little bit back. Then this is the vessel for you to run. At which point, obviously, you're going to be running the longest range cannon. Okay, medium cannon activation -3. The cannons are quite fast to fire, so there's another bonus. And here again in the advanced, all three don't really make that much of a difference. Now let's go through the basics on this ship. Over 10,000 overall defense. Fantastic for you to fight with. It can be made into a tank. Let's look at the velocity. 283. Once more, it can also be made to move around very fast. But here is where the big bonus comes in. It has a massive power grid output. Now, since it has a massive power grid output, that means you can use a slightly better rig on this ship. You can rig it up a little bit more. You have that excess power when it comes to fighting. But your overall capacity is the same as the other vessels. You have a smaller cargo hold, and you are also vulnerable to laser type weapons because you don't have EM shield resistance. Okay, so let's go through the basic info again. Let's see where everything is stabilized on the shields. Okay, so this vessel is as strong in the shield as it is in the armor. And as you can see, the armor does increase a bit, but the armor and the shield are almost the same. So running with this vessel means that you can run a different strategy when fighting with it. Instead of running that same old heavy shield build which I showed, you can run a shield hardener, a armor hardener, and one of the two repairs, a shield or armor repair. And what that means is you are going to tank damage a lot. That means when you get hit with Amar territory, you can run the hardener on your armor. And that means that even though they're going to break through your shield very quickly, they're going to suffer to get through your armor. And if you regen your armor fast enough, you're getting through it. You don't have to put that bonus into your shield. That's where this ship is going to get its best performance, taking the fight directly onto its armor against laser type vessels. Okay, let's go down. Recharge time. Max capacitor recharge rate 10.2 gigajoules per second. It recharges really slow. What does that mean? That means that you are going to be thinking about energy rigs for improving your recharge time. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're reading through everything. You want your times to be more along that 15 to 20 second mark, because if you can get 20 seconds for capacitor regen, that means that you can run a non-stop shield hardener with your boost in speed or with a boost in another area of your lower fittings. That means you have a stronger run when it comes to fighting. And yes, it does have 4 lower slots. That means if you decide not to run speed, you can actually regen shield and regen armor. You might be wondering, why would you go with such a thing? It's simple. In a fight, sometimes only one enemy locks onto you, sometimes the whole fleet locks onto you, and sometimes between waves you aren't being targeted anymore. And considering its overall energy, you have a bigger chance to regen and gain back everything at that rate. And considering that the shield isn't super huge, it isn't going to eat too much of power to get your shield back up to full strength. Okay, so let's continue with going through the next set of information on this ship. What do you need to research, right? So cruiser command, like any other cruiser, cruiser defense, cruiser engineering, target management. As I said, these are the basics on all your ships basically. Now, since this ship is going to be more cannon focused, you are going to research cannons with it. Simple reason for it is the cannons give you the best output on the ship. You can obviously equip missiles on it. You can gain a little bit of range from a missile, but what you are losing in terms of effectiveness is that use of a cannon weapon. You can use rapid cannons, you can use the long range cannons. It's purely up to you on how you're going to play it. Even though that fall off range starts to grow with your vessel, you can always play a slightly different tactic when fighting with the perfect vessel. Now, as I showed you right now on the top, the first three, the drone, remember this vessel, just like anything else, I said there's 4 medium class drones. They do one type of damage a piece, and you need to choose the one which is going to do the best damage for you. That means if you know you're going to be running into Amarr territory, switch on the one with which breaks through Amarr territory type ship shields. Now, where is one of the Amarr type ships? One moment, I believe this is an Amarr type ship. They are weak against kinetic damage. So you put on a kinetic damage vessel, and you can fly right through the shield, basically hitting them perfectly in that slot. And then lastly, obviously, is the Gallant vessels, which is this, if I'm correct. Yeah, this is a Gallant type vessel. This is a support type vessel. Didn't even notice that properly. Their weakness is right at the bottom. They are weak against. Okay, that is EM, thermal, kinetic. They are weak against explosive damage. So using explosive weapons against Gallant ships is your best option when it comes to going into those territories. Now, I have explained about just the basics on this here. I'm not going too far. The next thing for you to think about is rigs. Now, as I said, considering that its recharge time is low, you don't have to worry about boosting that capacity and boosting the energy on this vessel. So running something like increased shield, increased power regen, increased speed, perfect for the ship. Considering the range that it's going to fight at, it needs to be tanky. It's more important than weapon damage. So best thing to apply with this here is core defense 2 instead of running something like more weapon damage. But if you want to run this as a glass cannon, you're going to take a lot of damage in that close range, and you're going to get jammed if you go into any of the bigger fights. So let's go into the weapon rigs and let's look for cannon upgrades. Okay, this is laser cannon 2. Let's see what they are. Damage bonus, fall off adjustment, activation, time adjustment, power grid requirement. Now, from everything on these weapons, the best are the first two. You're getting that extra range, you're getting that extra firepower. That's all that you're getting, and that's the best part about this whole build if you're going to go combat. And it's not something that I would suggest for most people to go with. This is a forward type vessel. It can tank quite a bit and it can fight quite hard. It would benefit much more from a shield boost, a shield hardener, or the capacitor decrease in energy from a shield, because you're going to be running through more shield than anything else. The shield bonus will help. You can even run armor upgrades on this here, because as I said, it has quite powerful armor, but it still has a more powerful shield. And you can always just throw in the EM resistance to help you against the electric type damage from the Amarr vessels. Adding in 35 or 40 will actually stop that damage from wrecking through your shield instantly. So considering your range, you're going to need to run some sort of excessive defensive slot weapons in your mid slot. Now your low slot, as I said, it's shield hardeners and shield weapon type developments. I was just going to show you something here. Okay, medium class drones. Remember I just said something about the damage. As you can see, this one here does EM type damage. Running this into the red territory or Caldari territory is going to wreck through most of the vessels that come at you. The Vespa, there you can see it does kinetic damage. This will run right through most of the vessels in galleon territory. So running this here, you're going to hit them, you're going to break right through. Thermal damage, most vessels don't have a very high resistance against thermal damage. So running this basically is like saying, I don't want to focus on anything. I'm just going to run thermal damage so I can just keep hitting everything. As you could see, it only has about 20 extra damage resistance, and most weapons aren't going to give you that extra thermal power. So you're really just going to run it against just about everything. And here's the explosive damage Valkyrie, best against ships from the Amar territory. I'm actually running a Valkyrie on my other ship because I've been running into Amar territory trying to complete a lot of higher level missions, and they really hit hard. And some of the elite vessels just have ridiculously tanky shields. So I'm putting this on, and I'm going to try and clear out the entire fleet. Run after the last one in close range with the Valkyrie hitting everything. Okay, now as you go on to the later stages, there's obviously bigger weapons for you to use. They're even more powerful and they're going to help you out more. Now, considering your range, a stasis web of fire is smaller than your fall off range. Using it on your vessel, not the best idea, but if you're going to run the smaller weapons, go for it. Go for an elite stasis web of fire. Gonna get you in that sweet spot. You're gonna hit it nicely. Let's see. The NOS energy drain. As you can see, 4 to 2K's radius, not the best for you. It's taking you way too close in. You don't want to be that close to your enemies. Now let's go with the Caltrop. The Caltrop is just as bad as the NOS energy drain. It's not giving you what you need. Now, as I said, it's not giving you what you need. But the other three over here are all how do I explain it? They all support type mid slot usage. So the only things that you're going to suggest for someone with 3 mid slots are the 3 offensive type builds because they're both offensive and defensive. The Caltrop can reduce the power on your enemy instantaneously. The NOS energy drain gives you the enemy's energy almost instantly, and the web of fire reduces the speed so you can do more damage to them and so they can't evade you. It also helps you with making sure that they can't drop you on fall off range. So those are your 3 options, and they're going to be a general option for most vessels. And when I go into the Galleon and the other territories where they have support class vessels, you're going to see that the support class vessel is so different. It's not going to run these 3, it's going to run all of these factors below. And when it comes to the low slots, it's not going to run the exact same things that everybody else runs. It's going to run simple armaments. It's going to run, it might even run a shield booster, but the top in the weapon slot is going to be running everything in the support class. Now, just want to double check that I'm not too far. Oh, I am too far. Now, that's going to be it on the basics of this build. And as I said, when it comes to your rigs, you're going to go core defense, you're going to go speed, you're going to go energy regain. You can go energy regain and energy boost without taking up your speed. You are on such a close range that you're going to get hit 90% of the time. The speed bonus is only decreasing the amount of damage you take at a time, and that's its biggest advantage to you. You can evade more firepower, and the ship is a little bit more sleek and slim, so if I'm correct, it also takes less damage in that way. So that's going to be it for this video again. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.